Hey and welcome to another video. Today I'll be making this beautiful design cards with this animation, and this is completely responsive as well. I will show you in a second. You can see when I reduce the size, how the responsiveness of the card changes, and you can see that these look amazing. There are also animation I have added. Let's start with the HTML file and create cards. The images I have used in this project will be in the description, so you can download them from there. I'm attaching the link with style.css, creating a file style.css. Now creating a container, div of class container, and in that the container we will create a card, and card basically will have a div of image box, or the card will have, and the image box will have an image, the image which you have already seen. Now the card also has certain content, so I'll be creating a div of content as well, and the class will also have a heading of design, or you can change it to whatever you want. I will also add a paragraph as well. You can add whatever you want. I will also give it an anchor tag for read more hash a read more button type of thing. Okay, now let's create and first reveal it in the Explorer. You can see how it would looks like. And now I will basically go to style, and I will style this card. I will give it a margin of 0, a padding of 0 as well, and a box sizing of border box, and I will give a font family as well. You can give whatever font you want. Now let's copy the card and paste it 4 times, because if you have seen already, and change the image as well, I created 4 cards. So I am creating here a 4 card which will and also creating them fully responsive as well. Now I have just copy pasted all the 1 card to 4 cards and changed the image. You can see on the right how it looks like. Okay, now let's style this, and starting with a body tag, I will give it a background of hash F00, a red color. Okay, let me arrange it, and I will give it a display of flex, and justify content center and line item center. I want everything to be centered, so I'm doing this. I will give it a min height of 100 VH, and I will show you how it looks like right now. Now I will give it a background, I will change the color to linear grading. I will give it a color of 0 degree, and I want it to be look like greenish blue something, so I will change it, and I will give it 2E988FF, and you can see how it looks like now. You can change the color to the background color or whatever you want. You can only use the cards in your website as well. I will give it a background attachment of fixed. Okay, now I will choose the container, and in there I'll start to style this container as well. Now I will give it a position relative, width of 100 1000 pixels as well, and display of flex, justify content space between, and flex wrap. Okay, now you can see how it looks like. Basically, if you have seen the previous one, you can check it how it is been different from this one. I will give it a margin of 20 pixels and a padding of 20 pixels and 0 rows and column for rows and column. Okay, now I will basically use the card thingy, and the card div inside the container. Okay, and I will give it a position of relative, a height of 250 pixels, background of hash white background basically, and display flex, and width of 45%, and a margin of 30 pixels and 0. Now you can see basically how it looks like, but you might be wondering that it is not matching the design, but I'll just show you what I am trying to create. I'll give it a border of 20 pixels and a box shadow as well of 5 pixels, 15 pixels, and RGB 0.1. Basically you can see that it has a shadow at the bottom as well. Now I will copy this, and you can see that inside the card container.card there is also an image box which we created in the HTML file. So I will give it a position of absolute. I will give it a top of 10 pixels, left of 10 pixels as well, background of RGBA 255, 255, 255 and 0.1. Now you can see that it's starting to look, it's now starting to change as well. I will give it a background of blur to make it blur as well of 20 pixels. Now you can see the blur color. Now I hope you are getting what we are trying to create. Now let's give it a height of calculate using the calculate function and using the 100% height and minus 20 pixels of width. We will do the same with width as well. 100% minus 20 pixel. I will give the space, otherwise it won't work, and you can see how it changes now. Okay, now I will give, let's change the colors to 1 and you can see, so that I'm changing the color because I can know that whether I'm getting what I want or not. So let's give it a z index of 1, display of flex, and justify content center again, align item center again. Now get an overflow of hidden and a border of radius of 20 pixels. Now give it a border of 1 pixel solid and give it a color RGBA 255, 255, 255 and an opacity of 0.2. Now we'll give it a box shadow of 5 pixels, 5 pixels, 20, 30 pixels and RGB of again 000 and 0.1 opacity. Now you can see that it is fitting inside our box. Okay, everything is fitting in our site or box or image or color, everything. Now we get to a transition of 0.5 ease in out, but you won't be able to see it now, but I will give it a hover effect now. Whenever we hover on the card, we will see that animation. Now let's basically copy these and height of 150 pixel and a width of 150 pixel as well, so that you can see how it changes to 150 pixels box. After we hover on the card, we will give it a left of minus 75 and a top of calculate 50% minus 75 pixels. Okay, now you can see how it changes and how it is on the left side as well. Now I'll copy this and I will use the image tag. Now for the image tag, I will get a max width of 100 pixels, so that image should be clear. We will get a filter of invert 1 and we will get a transition as well of 0.5 second ease in out, same transition. Okay, now we will remove the hover and now you can see the image is perfectly how I wanted it to be in the size of the image as well. Now basically let's copy this, 1 second, and let's copy this and give it a hover effect and give it a max width of 75. Okay, now let's change the colors back to whatever they were, so that because I know I have already got what I wanted. Okay, so I have already changed the color back to what it was. Okay, now let's code the remaining part and whatever I want. Now use the card and dot container dot card, and inside the card there is content as well for the card. So for the content, you can see that the card has a content. So for the content, basically we will give it a position of absolute, right should be 0. You can change the values of the entire thing to get whatever if you want some changes, but I will just simply make what I have shown you in the beginning. The width of calculate 100% minus 75 pixels, and you can see why I have minus 75% because I have already done that in the hover effect. Now you can see how it changes. It has already changed. Now let's give it a height of 100% and a padding of 20 pixels as well. Now give it a display of flex, justify content center, align item center. Now you can see that everything is already inside the center and you are not able to see it until someone hovers over that. Okay, now the container has a card and an image and a content, and now let's change the heading. Now for the heading, we will give it a color of whatever color you want. I am just giving FF0057 and I'm giving a margin bottom of 5 pixels. You can change the value and giving the font size of 24 pixels. Okay, now let's see. You can see how it changes the design color. You can change the what content as well. Now let's give it a after the h3 I need to change the anchor tag. So for the anchor tag I want to make it blue, so I will give it display of flex, inline block, a margin on top of 100 pixels, padding of 8 pixel 20 pixels, and a border or radius of 5 pixels, and a background of #009555. You can see that it is similar to, but I don't like the underline thingy, so I will change the text decoration to none, and for the font weight to 400, or let's give it 500. For the color, #FFF. You can see how good it looks now. Yes. Okay, so now I will make it responsive as well, because it is not responsive. For the all types of screen sizes it should work. So I'm giving it a max width of 992 pixels, because in the beginning you must remember that I gave it a width of 100, max width of 1000 pixels, and I'm changing it to 992. Now we have to give it to 1000. We use 1000. Now I'm giving 992. I'm using that dot container, giving it a position of relative, width of 100%, and also the flex direction should be column, because I want everything to be in the form of column. If we reduce the size, you can see if I have reduced the screen size and it is already converted into column. But I don't want this kind of animation, so I will change dot container and I will use dot card, and I will also add align item center and justify. I don't need it. I will give it a width of 400 pixels, max width of 400 for the card, maybe 300. Reload the page and you can see. You can change the card size up to your according to your specification. I will give it a height of auto and a flex or direction of column for the card as well, and give for the background we will give it a transparent background. You can now you might be wondering that how everything is overlapping with each other, right? So I will give it basically a margin. I'm just changing it. Just give it me a minute. -20 pixels 0, and now they have already come all more near. Now I'll copy this and I will just simply paste it, and I will give it a let me see. Okay, there's an image box. Okay, for image box I will give it a position of relative. Now you can see how it has already changed, but I don't want it to be like this, so I will give it copy dot container dot card and dot image box, and for the hover effect for the image box, for the both width should be 80% and height should be 200 pixels, and top should be 100 pixels, and left should be 10 pixels. Now you can see I am already trying to get whatever I wanted, but I have not already achieved it till now, but I will. Let's give it a 10% instead of 10 pixels. Okay, now let's copy this, paste it, and also give a card a hover effect. So when we put cursor on the card, what should happen? Now give it a top of 80 pixels. You can see how it's already moving vertically. And I will copy the entire thing. I will paste it and I will give an image for both, for the image tag inside the image box. Okay. Now I will give it a max width of 100 pixels. And I will copy this and paste it, and I will give it the content. Now let's change the content, give it a position relative, width of 100%, background of FFF. Now you can see I've already almost achieved what we wanted, but I don't not like the background, that shadow, so I will give it a none. You can see how I will remove it. 1 second. I will give it a border top of 100%, 100 pixel solid FFF dash. I will also give it a border radius 20 pixels. Now you can see that what I am getting till now. But you can see that it looks like all the cards are attached to each other, and I do not like it. So I will give it a border shadow of none, and you can see how it's removed now. I will show you again. Now you can see that there is lines behind it, and when I give a box shadow of none, you can see that how they are removed. Now I will give it a padding of 20 pixels and 40 pixels. I will just change the size. You can see when photo cursor on it, also give a little animation. So basically I think we have already almost achieved what we wanted, and you can see how good it looks like. I hope you like the video. If you like it, subscribe, and thank you so much.